Recently, I shared a little bit on TikTok about semi-precious stones and how cubic zirconia actually was created in Soviet Union. And there was this comment from one comrade on TikTok about how possibly this is why they hate cubic zirconia so much in the United States, because it was made in the USSR. But I recently talked to a friend of mine who who creates jewelry, and she works with a Soviet geologist. I mean, he was born in the Soviet Union and he worked in the Soviet Union, so this is why we call him the Soviet one. And she learns a lot about, geology of our region, and she actually went on trips to gather some semi-precious stone, and I got her permission to share some of these little facts with you all. But yeah, cubic zirconia, the shiny rock, I don't know if you can see it well. I thought, and I think on Wikipedia it said that it was made when they were looking for an alternative to diamond for some lasers. But in the end, my friend shared that this was not suitable for lasers, but they were still probably able to use it for some lab equipment and whatnot. But it mostly went into jewelry when they discovered that it has all the pretty properties of diamonds. And it was incredibly cheap to make. My friend also shared that it is kind of dangerous still to make cubic zirconia. It's not like a completely safe process. It is made in a special room, and you cannot go inside because the conditions are not suitable for human survival. So, but this process is not like mining, right? It's much safer for humans who are involved. It doesn't require, extraction and whatnot. And technically, cubic zirconia is the pure form of a diamond, or because it doesn't have any natural increments of other matter in it, because any diamond would actually have something else kind of mixed into it. And cubic zirconia doesn't. It's as pure as it can get, and it's incredibly cheap, and it's available everywhere. And here we call it Fianit. I'm going to insert the word here, which comes from the name of the institution where it was made, where the scientists worked. And I will put the translation of the name of this institute here as well, so you can look it up if you want to. And this also made me think of how the appeal to nature fallacy very often makes us think that if something's natural, then it's good and it's better. And diamonds are natural, therefore they're superior to cubic zirconia or this other stone that I think is kind of popular in the United States. I will insert the name here because I don't want to try and pronounce it. I think there's some white supremacy at play when people appeal to nature in this manner, because everything is natural. Everything is made of the compounds that exist in this universe. Therefore, it is natural, and humans are not able to produce something that doesn't naturally occur. Even if they replicate it, it's still made from the materials that are here on Earth. So it's not like we can just think a new thing and it will appear, right? We cannot imagine a thing into being. So, and it is a materialist view of the world, right? We're not idealistically pretending that we can create things out of nothing. But what I think is important to consider is the connection to white supremacy, because this hierarchical structure where something that is pure and natural is on the top of the ladder, and then everything man-made is inferior. It's like the whole God thing again. It's oh, God made everything perfect, and then humans just keep on trying to make something that's not nearly as good. But if you're a materialist, you don't believe in God, and you don't have to subscribe to such hierarchies, right? And they ultimately make no sense, because a lot of the things that we humans can make are the product of a very lengthy process of learning from nature and synthesizing from what we gain from nature in order to create something new. And this actually happens on its own. Nature creates, again, it's not sentient, but things happen in nature and new compounds become available all of a sudden. New compounds appear, new type of life appears, and humans have a very little tiny part in it. And why not? Why not enjoy it? Why not make shiny rocks if we can? And if you look at the artificial stones, gemstones, semi-precious stones, whatever, the artificial ones will usually be superior in qualities because you're able to control all the variables and you are going to get the purest form, whatever, depending on your lab equipment, of course, and what kind of raw materials you have, etc. And of course, I'm not an expert in this. I'm kind of speculating here, but in the Soviet Union, I just remember they made a lot of semi-precious stones artificially, like amethyst and a lot of the other ones. I don't remember all the names of all the semi-precious stones, but they made them in the lab and they were like perfect. And I showed some of my Soviet rings in this TikTok that I made some time ago. And this one too, this one that I have on my middle finger is a Soviet ring as well. And I don't even know what stone this is, but I have the other ones that have amethyst and they're beautiful. They're amazing and I love them. And my grandma passed them down to me. They were made from gold that is not as pure, whatever. The alloy is like 583. This thing, and nowadays 585 is considered the standard, the golden standard. And I asked my friend, like, what is the reason? And she said that, well, to make it more accessible to the people, they just made it cheaper, right? So that makes sense to me. And I do enjoy wearing those old antique, I think they're considered antique nowadays, rings as a token from my grandmother. And they're great. They're amazing. Like, they're more than 30 years old, and they're beautiful. The gold retain its shine and everything. It didn't change color, and the stones too, they're pure and beautiful and amazing. So yeah, the Soviet Union cared about serving the people, giving beautiful things to the people, not purity or naturalness. And I think that we can persevere in their efforts and make more great things available to people without exploiting each other, without exploiting nature, without causing irreparable damage to the planet, etc. So if you are participating in the boycotts of the diamond industry, props to you. I think it's easy for many of us to do that because we can't afford no diamonds. But anyway, I got interrupted by my cat, so I don't know what I was saying. So I hope you have a good day and I'll talk to you sometime later.